So, welcome once again to JK in the Workshop.
Workshop.
We're
back.
JK in the Workshop. We're really great with this brand new thing. It's good to see you, this phone again, sitting in front of us with a camera. It would definitely be more fun to see you again. But today, I think we're going to talk about something important. Not only is it important, I think it is like pertinent or prevalent or like applies to the now. Applicable. Is it applicable or applicable? Or are those two different words? Applicable?
I was insecure when you said that.
Applicable.
Applicable. There we go.
So today I'm going to start with a story. Well, actually, Katie, why don't you first tell us what we got to take a part in this week. It was really cool.
Yeah, so on Sunday, some of you know that there was an educational rally, is I think what they were calling it, at Red Bridge Park, a Black Lives Matter educational rally, and Justin and I got to help them supply the sound system. Really, Justin did that, and I just took credit for something I didn't really do.
You brought me lunch. You helped me.
I brought him lunch. I carried some stuff.
You wound a ton of cables.
Yeah.
Correctly.
I'm getting good at that.
But
anyways, we had the opportunity to help amplify the voices of people, literally with a microphone.
Yeah.
And just take part in this rally that was important to us and important for our community. It was really cool to be part of and just see everybody sort of come together from all different backgrounds and listen and learn.
Yeah, and we were on kind of the inside, the behind the curtain of this. Yeah. We got to help with the planning and stuff. And honestly, that planning process, it was not it wasn't politically charged. It wasn't we need to down with any political party or figures or people.
Right.
It was just, honestly, what it was is a group of people crying out for help.
Yeah.
And an opportunity for us, literally amplify their voices.
Yeah.
So we walked away with that, I think, feeling a really, a sense of pride in being part of that.
Yeah, and just learning a lot about people's
Oh my gosh, yes, learning so much.
Was important.
So I was running the soundboard, me and Colin, who should we got to sit literally on the stage as this was happening. And I kept welling up as I was hearing these stories. Just of people sharing, hey, this is what it's meant to be a person of color in this community. Yeah. And just being really raw and honest with that. So we walked away with that, I think, feeling a sense of pride that we got to be part of this, that we, again, literally got to amplify the voices of people crying out for help. But that was yesterday.
Yeah.
And then today, we hopped online, social media, actually Katie showed it to me, and just what people were saying about this event, people were saying very negative things about what happened. Things that weren't true, missed the point. It's really calloused opinions, it felt. Which brings us to our topic of today. How do we, as followers of Jesus, as the salt and light of this world, as people carrying the torch of Jesus to this world, how do we disagree well?
That's tough, man.
It's really tough.
It's really hard.
But
important that we learn.
But yeah, it's super important because that's what we're doing right now. Just as a country, we're just disagreeing with each other.
Right.
Over everything.
Yeah. And even when it's not on a large scale and publicized like it is, everyday life, you're still gonna disagree with people, and how we respond says a lot about who we are.
Sure. Yeah. So, there are just a billion things that we can disagree on. Right now, some topics are the virus. Is this thing real? Is it not real? Do you need to wear a mask? Do you not need to wear a mask? Is Costco the bully? Or is Costco the hero for making you wear a mask?
I will always love Costco.
Just politics that the grounds for disagreement have been ripe for the picking for years.
Right.
like
Bush governor is doing the right thing.
since like 1776. Like we've been disagreeing about our political leaders for that long, protesting. Right now, that's still happening. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or is it a noble cause? Is it a made-up cause? Like there are people on both sides of that. At your dinner table, are the Cubs the best team in the world?
Well, obviously.
Or is it a wrong team? Like, what are some things to disagree on? Is this band good? Is this band not good? Is this, is this person good?
Sure.
Is it okay can you still be a good person and hold these beliefs? Like just at the dinner table, there are thousands of things to disagree on. So we want to kind of start off this conversation today with reading a little bit of what we find in the New Testament, some words of Paul, and then just kind of get some scenarios of ways you might disagree, and then we want to talk about Thursday. So Katie, will you read for me Ephesians 4:31 through 5:2? Just a couple verses there.
Yep.
4:31.
It says, "Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ God forgave you. Just
Right.
as in Christ God." That was only the point.
Oh, go ahead.
But I gotta swipe. Alright. "Following God's example, therefore, as dearly loved children, and walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God."
All right, a little louder. Read it again. A little louder for those in the back. The whole thing.
The whole thing. Yeah. Really gotta get used to this.
You just gotta swipe.
Swipe.
Swipe left.
"Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice."
All right, let's stop right there. So, like in disagreement, these are kind of like read those things. What was that list of things there?
Bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, slander,
All right.
malice.
So think about whenever somebody disagrees with you. These are our go-tos.
Yeah.
Like rage, anger, malice, like bitterness. Bitterness is like that thing that we keep chewing on.
It's no matter what that person does.
Yeah.
Like I'm already upset.
This is our go-to response when somebody disagrees with us. We want to puff up our chest. We want to put up our dukes. Like I'm gonna show you how you're wrong.
I'm getting upset.
Right. Yeah. When we disagree, we bring all these things. It's like poison has been poured into our hearts and our minds. But Paul goes on to say what?
"Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you."
All right. Right there is the piece that I want to point out. Because this is hard, right? Because our gut reaction when we disagree with somebody, when somebody says something dumb in our minds, or when somebody, hurts our feelings even, like our tendency is to puff up, to get angry, to want to, you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you.
Defensive mode.
Yeah, defensive mode. Paul says, no, that's not the way to go about this. The way to go about this is with kindness and tenderness and forgiveness. Think about it in your own life. How many times have you been wrong about something? Just think about it. I used to, what's something wrong? I used to think ambulance was pronounced bambulance.
Bambulance.
Thanks to my uncle, which is a nonsensical thing. But I used to believe that.
Wholehearted.
And, if I was unable to change my mind,
Right.
I would still think that, right? And
Sure.
Even as a follower of Jesus, there are things that I have believed that I look back on, and the culture that I was raised in was well, here's what the Bible says. If you don't believe it, you're wrong. And I didn't understand that the Bible was written thousands of years ago, and there's a little bit of when you translate languages when you translate from Hebrew to English and from Greek to English, just the way that languages work, there's a little more work to be done than just reading, right? So there are things that I went through like you're an idiot if you don't believe this, that I don't think now.
So sure.
Yeah, and if people around me didn't have a sense of forgiveness, I would be in wrong standing.
Yeah.
Because I did not have tenderness kindness in my heart when I was going about those things. So, I want you to think about this week. All right, read that again. Ephesians 4:31 through 5:2. Read that. And what does it mean to disagree with a sense of tenderness in your heart, a sense of kindness in your heart? Right. Those are real skills. So let me give you a couple examples of times that you might be tempted to disagree, and then I want to talk about these Thursday. All right. So, first one, when somebody writes a social media post that you don't disagree with, let's say that is downright offensive to you. When somebody writes a social media post that is offensive to you, what do you do in disagreement with it?
Right.
All right. When you're sitting at the dinner table with your family and somebody says something that you think is wrong, right? Politics or maybe sports or any topic. When somebody at the dinner table says something wrong, how do you disagree with them? Maybe two scenarios, like your sibling says something you disagree with, or a parent says something you disagree with.
Yeah.
Right? Because that one is especially difficult, I think.
Yeah.
Or it can be especially difficult. Another one, a friend starts dating someone that you don't like. You disagree with their choice. What do you do there? Another one, someone says something offensive at the lunch table at school, right? You're sitting at your lunch table.
Yeah.
Usually it's some semblance of your friend group, I would say, whoever you're lucky enough to have that lunchtime with. And somebody says something offensive. Maybe not to you, but you see somebody hurt their feelings,
Right.
or maybe they hurt your feelings. How do you disagree well in that moment? How do you call that out, maybe? Or are there situations where you shouldn't call it out? Or I don't know. So let's talk about this Thursday. How we want to disagree well. We want to embody the spirit of Jesus with grace and tenderness and kindness. So final question, Olivia, is how might, if we all, just think of everyone that you know, right, that you've ever disagreed with. If we all changed our default setting and started approaching things with kindness and forgiveness and tenderheartedness, how might our disagreements change in this world, right? Instead of puffing up, if we humbled up, right?
Yeah.
How might that change? That's what my question will be today. So we'll talk Thursday.
Yeah.
See you then.
Bye, guys.